If you're like millions of Americans, you start your day with a cup or maybe 2 or 3 cups of coffee. But even if it's part of your daily routine, it makes sense to stop and ask a few questions. How much do you know about your morning pick-me-up? Do you ever think about where it comes from or how it's affecting your body? The coffee shrub hails from East Africa. It was introduced to the Americas in the 1700s. Today, coffee is cultivated by some 25 million farmers and coffee workers in more than 50 countries. Worldwide, annual coffee consumption is more than 12 billion pounds, and the United States accounts for about a quarter of that. The average U.S. coffee drinker, and there are about 130 million of us, gulps down 3.2 cups a day. But just how does coffee get into our cups and mugs? The global commodity chain involves a string of producers, middlemen, exporters, importers, roasters, and retailers before coffee reaches the consumer. Approximately 27 million acres are devoted to coffee worldwide, with the largest producers and exporters being Brazil, Colombia, and Indonesia. Around the world, coffee is produced on both large plantations and by small farmers. And most of the small farmers sell their coffee directly to middlemen exporters who pay them below market prices for their harvests and keep a high percentage for themselves. This forces the farmers into a cycle of poverty that keeps working conditions poor, wages low, and often involves child labor. Coffee workers are usually paid the equivalent of sweatshop wages, and they toil under harsh conditions. With all of this in mind, we're left with 2 major questions about coffee. 1, is it good or bad for your health? And 2, what about the health and well-being of the coffee workers and farmers around the world? On question 1, you might be shocked to find out that coffee has the okay from many health organizations. It's full of antioxidants that dampen inflammation and are believed to be positive and preventive when it comes to chronic diseases. In a recent issue of the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, researcher Rune Blumhoff from the University of Oslo said, quotes, "We were surprised to learn that coffee quantitatively is the major contributor of antioxidants in the diets of both Norway and the USA." Close quotes. This came as quite a surprise to all those gulping down grape juice and blueberries and raspberries and oranges who knew that their daily coffee routine had them more than covered with 1,299 milligrams. And then there's caffeine. Once it's ingested, it's rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream in 30 to 45 minutes and takes 4 to 6 hours for most of it to be eliminated. While it's in the body, it affects brain blood flow, blood pressure, respiratory function, stomach and bowel activity, urine volume, and exercise performance. Mentally, low to moderate doses increase well-being, happiness, energy, alertness, and sociability. Higher doses, anxiety, jitteriness, and an upset stomach. Pregnant women and women wanting to become pregnant are discouraged from drinking too much coffee because it could cause early delivery or have adverse effects on fertility. Now back to the question of coffee farmers and workers. Enter the Fair Trade Coffee movement, a partnership between consumers and coffee growers to ensure that the growers receive a fair price for their coffee in order to make a living wage. If a farmer gets fair trade certification, he can sell his coffee as a member of the Fair Trade Register and earn much more than selling it in the traditional manner. If you're a coffee drinker, your daily routine automatically connects you to those coffee farmers. Buy fair trade coffee, and you're bound to drink a little easier knowing that you've helped those farmers and that they get the funding and the healthier lives that they certainly deserve. For Health Commentary, I'm Mike McGee.